From Mountain Lion Stadium on the campus of University of Colorado at Colorado Springs, we bid you welcome to Rocky Mountain Athletic Conference Women's Soccer, where today the UCCS Mountain Lions look to sweep their weekend games in RMAC play and go to 2-0 in the conference. Meanwhile, New Mexico Highlands provides the opposition. They remain winless on the season, but today would be a huge upset for the Cowgirls, so we're looking forward to some exciting action. Hello again, everyone. I'm Doug Klein, and I'll be bringing you all the play-by-play this afternoon of Rocky Mountain Athletic Conference soccer. And the Mountain Lions are coming off clearly their best match of the season on Friday night when they beat CSU Pueblo 3-0. CSU Pueblo ranked number 23 in the nation. The Mountain Lions had opened the season at number 3 in the nation and had dropped out. This weekend could go a long way toward moving the Mountain Lions back into the top 25. The teams are lined up on the field, doing their final coaching instruction and making their way out onto the field. So here in Colorado Springs today, we are at around the mid-80s. Over the last hour or so, we've had some sparse cloud cover moving in, making it just a bit more comfortable as we finish up this homecoming weekend here on the campus of University of Colorado at Colorado Springs. Friday night, big win for the women, as we mentioned at the top, and looking to send all of the fans home happy from this homecoming weekend. As you can see, if you're accustomed to watching us on streaming, the Mountain Lions will be moving from our right to left. We have changed vantage points as we have the benefit of UCCS Media Services. 5 cameras bringing you all of the action today from the east side of the field. So the Mountain Lions will be moving from your right to left. The Mountain Lions are wearing their home uniforms with the gold center panel and white panels on both shoulders. Meanwhile, the New Mexico Highlands Cowgirls, wearing black with gold trim, will be moving from left to right. And the whistle goes, and we are underway here on this Sunday afternoon in Colorado Springs. The Cowgirls owned the opening kickoff, and they're trying to possess out of the back. And there's Elisa Muir stepping up from defense for the first interception and possession of the afternoon for the Mountain Lions. Here on the near side, that's Ella Fisher. And you may be able to hear the center referee calling hands down, early foul and a direct kick. Tara Patterson lines the ball up, calls in teammate Elisa Muir. Muir looks to be taking it, better slot for her right foot. She steps over, leaves it for Patterson, sends it in, top of the 18. No trouble, rolls all the way through and innocently out for a throw-in for the Cowgirls as we are just underway here at Mountain Lion Stadium. UCCS comes into the match with a 3-1-1 record and tied for the early lead in the conference by way of that 1-0 win. All of the conference teams are in action in conference play this weekend, so things will begin to settle out later this afternoon when all of the Sunday games are over. UCCS obviously hoping to be at least tied atop the table with 6 points in the early going. That ball goes back to Katie Pacino. Pacino playing center back, in goal today, as she has been for every minute of the 2018 season. Kaylin Smith for the Mountain Lions. That's Malone Parado who headed the ball down. Or no, actually it was Esterly, Kate Esterly, who headed the ball down. Offside on New Mexico Highlands. So as we mentioned, Kaylin Smith, 2 shutouts so far in the first 5 games. She has a goals against average of just over .75 per game, having played 470 minutes in net. That includes an opening season 0-0 double overtime draw. That ball came in. That's Maddie Tominello, who's playing center forward for the Mountain Lions. That throw goes into Patterson. Patterson, wearing the captain's band, gets around her defender, has the split, and is open to the net. Takes it far side, tapped off of the football crossbar, so therefore out of bounds. Maydew, I think, was the one coming in hard trying to finish it. She's the leading scorer. She and the New Mexico Highlands goalkeeper had a bit of a collision. Both get up slowly. In goal today, Brianna Raylis. She has had the bulk of the play for the Cowgirls this season. So first best chance of the afternoon goes to the Mountain Lions with that shot over the crossbar. We'll set the back line for you for the Mountain Lions, but first another direct kick coming up. Kate Esserly playing one of the center backs today. She's going to step up to take this direct from just on the UCCS attacking side of midfield. Esserly drives it near the top of the 18. It's deflected off of a Cowgirl defender, potentially dangerously, goes out over the touchline, so that'll be a UCCS throw. Ella Fisher coming over to take the throw. Fisher with an assist on Friday night and 2 assists on the season to lead the Mountain Lions in that category. Fisher just drags it straight across, drops it back to the top of the 18. I don't think Patterson got quite the shot on that she was hoping for. She was lined up, I think, exactly where she was hoping. So we are just ready to pass through the first 5 minutes of play here this afternoon. Raylis to take the goal kick for New Mexico Highlands. And they made their way down Interstate 25. They played Metro State Friday evening up in Denver. They dropped that match 4-0. New Mexico Highlands has had a bit of a scoring drought. They haven't scored since September 1st. They've been shut out in their last 2 games. This ball dropped down for Tominello. She works it, comes free, takes it to the top, and a score! Tominello to Tara Patterson. Just over 5 minutes into the match, and the Mountain Lions have the early 1-0 lead. That play clearly created by Maddie Tominello. The hard work along the goal line to keep possession, wriggle free, cross it, and waiting for it was Patterson for her 3rd goal of the season. Tori Maydew leads the Mountain Lions with 4 goals, in large part on the strength of a pair of goals Friday night, and Tara Patterson, as we said, her 3rd of the season. So the Mountain Lions have the early 1-0 lead, and this is easily the earliest in the early part of the season that they have had a lead. Part of the challenge of the Mountain Lions coming into this weekend, despite the fact that they were over 500, outplaying everyone in terms of the number of shots, was the fact that they were having a tough time finding the back of the net. So they had only been ahead 23 minutes of the first 380 that they played in the first 4 matches. And then on Friday night, they scored a couple of goals in the first 25 minutes. And here today, a goal in the first 5. That's Patterson moving through the defense again. Slide tackle by the Cowgirls to knock it out for the throw-in. Ella Fisher to take the throw. Tominello back to Fisher. Fisher works in for the cross to the far post. Fronted nicely by the Cowgirls. Ball stays right on the goal line, still in play, and finally sent out for a throw-in. It's Naomi Garola on the far side to take the throw for the Mountain Lions. Throws it into Maydew. Maydew drops it back for the cross right in front of the goal. I believe that's off of a Cowgirl foot. It is, and that'll be the first corner kick of the afternoon for the Mountain Lions. From this side of the field, most commonly, you'll see Anna Gregg taking the corners. more dominant on her right foot, so creates the opportunity for the bend. Referee blows the whistle and wants to get folks aligned. Ella Fisher pleading her case. She makes the rotation around. Ball goes long, headed in. I wasn't sure whether that was on the outside of the netting or the inside. So Anna Gregg with her first point of this young season with the assist off of the corner kick. We'll wait for the official call of who climbed the ladder to get the head on it. So UCCS out front very early with the 2-0 lead. So they are crediting Patterson with that. She was the one that climbed high to head that one in. So that's her second goal of today, 4th of the season. She now ties Tori Maydew for the goal scoring lead on the squad. Gregg tries to flip it forward. Clearly an illegal charge. And this will be a direct kick from right in front of us for the Mountain Lions. Kira Chaffee is our center referee for the afternoon. She sets the ball, steps away. Muir overruns the ball. Patterson sends it in, looking for Tominello, goes over her foot and rolls toward the touchline on the far side and knocked out by Highlands. So it'll be a Mountain Lion throw. Comes into Tominello, a little far out in front of her. She manages to stay with it, but Raylis comes out to smother it. Raylis looks to be limping just a bit, maybe from that collision with Maydew in the first couple of minutes. New Mexico Highlands looking for their first contained possession in these first 10 minutes. Fisher tries to send it through a body, unable to do so. Ana Medina with the block. That's sent well forward. Smith way out of her area to collect it. Put it onto the foot of Esterly to start the Mountain Lions back. Pacino sent up, not quite strong enough to get through, but goes right back to Pacino's foot. And over to Esterly to switch fields a bit, gain space. She tries to go to direct to Garola. Garola had to come back a bit for it. Garola working hard over there along the touchline against Brooke Nemi. Nemi hits it out, and that'll be a throw-in for the Mountain Lions. We're just over 10 minutes into the match, and already UCCS out to a 2-0 advantage. Crossed right in the center, Patterson up with the header. Popped up, easily caught by Raylis. Patterson was going for the early hat trick. That was headed back to Smith by Esterly, so Smith is allowed to use her hands when it's headed back. Up to Maydew. Maydew tries to work the give and go. Comes to Gregg. She slots it nicely to Maydew. Maydew is through. She tries to make the turn. Fisher on the ball, touches it. Makes contact with the goalkeeper and then starts rolling out. Clock is stopped as once again Raylis is out. Honestly, from here, I thought it was a clean challenge. The ball was going in. Fisher had permission to attack. I don't think Raylis was under control, but I'm not sure that the official was too pleased with how hard Fisher went in. They're having a bit of a discussion. Raylis getting some treatment. Take a look at the sideline to see if her backup keeper is starting to warm up and stretch. Karina Vega would be the backup. Vega has played about 70 minutes thus far in the season. Officials in this situation, and appropriately so, give a lot of latitude to the training staff when they're treating a keeper. Reyes pulled up, clearly favoring her lower body, but looks like she's going to stay in. The official call after all of that action is that the ball went out over the goal line, so it's a goal kick for the Cowgirls. Reyes approaches. She's had a rough first 12 minutes. She's been down twice from contact, 2 goals past her. Mirror steps, goes into the center to Parado. Parado back out to Esterly. That's been one change that Coach Hudson has gone with more frequently these last couple of games, whether to have Parado at center back and Esterly at the defensive center mid, both of them interchangeable. Esterly, a bit of a height advantage at 6 foot. Both skilled on the ball, both able to carry into space from the back. After that UCCS foul, and the Cowgirls put it back into play, just goes out over the goal line for a Smith goal kick. She sends it up to Pacino. Pacino playing a lot of minutes here in the first part of the season. That pass without enough pace, and now the Cowgirls counter, and this could be their first real offensive threat of the afternoon. Not headed out cleanly by Esterly, but she stays with it, runs through, tries to drop it back, and again, a turnover, and it's on to the feet of New Mexico Highlands. First shot of the afternoon by the Cowgirls goes well over the crossbar. Medina took that shot for the Cowgirls. Smith sent it to midfield, but the Cowgirls were well positioned to create some traffic. They call Tominello for that foul right at midfield. So New Mexico Highlands to put it back in play. As we said, New Mexico Highlands played up in Denver Friday night. The trip down Interstate 25 to Colorado Springs. There's a hold. Goes in favor of the Mountain Lions. And then obviously New Mexico Highlands back on I-25 after this match to head home to Las Vegas, New Mexico. That's Parado, who's turned, goes backwards to Muir, to Smith. Smith switching fields, goes to the right side. New Mexico Highlands has found a little better defensive shape since the second goal, but obviously they have a big hole now to climb out of. Collision midfield. It's against Medina. Quick restart by the Mountain Lions. Cannot maintain clean possession. They were hoping to create a great scoring opportunity if they could get New Mexico Highlands walking backwards and not realizing it was back in play. This is Muir, who tries to send it forward, a little too far for Fisher. And back onto the feet of Medina. Medina goes out to the right side to Castillo. Castillo with the cross in. She was hoping to have a runner on it. That was Brianna Fatton coming in. And now Esterly carries through space. I'm sure at this point, after the fast start by the Mountain Lions, Coach Hudson probably not pleased with the last 10 minutes of play or so, or actually probably all of the play after the second goal. Many of the passes not quite connecting, not crisp enough, either too firm or not enough pace, creating some turnovers. Now, nice overlap by Muir to collect the ball. She takes it down to the goal line, shouldered off, and a little bit too much of a shoulder. It's going to be called a push. So the Mountain Lions are going to have a direct kick from a very dangerous spot, just a couple of yards outside the 18. Maybe not even that far. It looks like it's right on the outer edge of the 18. So Greg, just 18 yards away from the near post. Let's see what kind of a play can develop here. Nobody coming short for the Mountain Lions, so they're going to be running a play. There's the chip, far post, looking for the header, headed toward net, cleared out by the Cowgirls. Sent right back in, but it was student body offside for the Mountain Lions. I think 3 or 4 of their players as they were looking to go in. New Mexico Highlands in the early going, it looks like they're trying to run a bit of an offside trap. We'll keep an eye on that as the match continues. Katie Pacino sends it to Muir. Muir back to Smith. Esterly drops it in for Maydew. Maydew tries to split defenders, knocked off of her foot, and the Cowgirls get it back. This will be a UCCS throw. Pacino into the center circle for Patterson. Patterson drops it for Parado. Parado out to the right side for Garola, and that is broken up by the Cowgirls, and they start back. It's Medina with the ball. Parado comes back to knock it off her foot from behind, and Pacino just clears it, relieving a little bit of pressure, but the Cowgirls still with it. If you were with us Friday night, we mentioned that most soccer coaches will tell you the most dangerous lead in soccer is the 2-0 lead, because you start getting a little bit confident, and one mistake, one incredible counter by the opposition, the lead is in half and the momentum is switched. And we may be seeing some evidence of this. Mountain Lions need to find their early minute mojo again. Muir comes over right in front of us to take the throw, tosses it in for Fisher. Fisher. I hear some fans screaming all ball right in front of me. Clock is stopped. Fisher went down hard. Referee is calling. First called on the trainer and then called the trainer off. Fisher said she was okay. This will be a direct kick for Patterson. Official sends the Cowgirls back in the 10 yards. Patterson, chip toward the far post. Maydew charging in, can't quite climb the ladder enough. Esterly trailing, sends it into the far netting, or the outside netting of the far side. Couple of substitutions coming in now for the Cowgirls as we are 20 minutes into the first half. The Mountain Lions with the early 2-0 advantage. Esterly intercepts it, puts it on Greg's foot. She tries to tap it forward for Patterson, not quite there. And the Cowgirls come back. Parado races back, recovers nicely, and Muir comes away with it. Muir pushed from behind. That was an easy call. Muir's been on the turf quite a bit already today. Muir with a quick restart, puts it right back in. And the Mountain Lions start back. Looking for Garola on the far side. Parado drops it back into the center circle to Pacino. Pacino ahead for Maydew, not quite there. Broken up by the Cowgirls. Knocked out of bounds for a New Mexico Highlands throw. It'll be interesting to see as the afternoon progresses. Both teams having played Friday night and a bit warm here today in Colorado Springs. How much legs they'll have left as we move into the second half. This is Tominello racing for the ball. Getting there first easily was Carly Grigo, sending it back to Reyes. Garola starts the switch of fields, coming through Pacino. Pacino having a little bit of trouble. Near turnover, Smith out to protect it, sends it forward. Tominello now on the challenge. Does a thigh trap, back to Fisher, and back to Tominello. Two Cowgirl players collide. Muir challenging over along the touchline. Gains the advantage on the shield, has the throw. Now it's on to Patterson's foot. Patterson comes ahead to Fisher. Fisher tries to chip it to Tominello. Tominello takes a bit of a tumble. Referee says play on, and appropriately so. Ball pops up, goes out, and another throw for Muir. And here come three substitutions for the Mountain Lions with 22 minutes remaining in the first half. And seeing her first minutes of the season, number 15, Kylie Waranga. As you may occasionally hear from Coach Hudson, she participated in an interview at the halftime of the men's game earlier today. 12 out of the 30 roster slots have been dealing with injuries, most of those since the beginning of the season. Kylie Waranga, one of them, and she is seeing her first minutes of 2018. So good to see her back. Most likely she will play out the final 22 minutes of this half. The training, she's been doing a lot of work on the bike to work on that injury. And as you can see, she's got tape on the left leg. Muir comes out of that, pushes ahead to Patterson. Patterson has Tominello on the left. She goes for her, but it was a bit behind her. And you can see Tara's frustration. She knew it. She had Tominello, was trying to catch it in stride and just hit it a bit. Throw coming in now for the Cowgirls. That ball is out and called. Muir with it to take the throw. We talked a lot about Waranga coming in. Also, Kylie Cleary came in right in front of us, as well as Amelia Jungi. Patterson has it. She tries to head it ahead for Cleary. Cleary safely behind the line. Crosses in front, looking for the finish. Charging, Tominello has it. Shot lined up, goes, goal! Maddie Tominello with her second goal of the season to extend it to a 3-0 lead. We'll see how they credit the assist. Cleary definitely did the setup on the play, but I think there was some other activity in there. I'm not sure Kylie will receive the assist, but definitely gets a lot of coaching credit for the hard work. And this may be a hydration break. We were not given the heads up at the beginning of the match, but certainly this is within the purview of the official to offer hydration breaks once a half at about midway through. So this is a good time. So we are just 1 second beyond the 20-minute mark remaining in the first half. Team's taking the hydration break after that third goal. So this gives us a bit of a chance to talk about some of the things that are coming up for the Mountain Lions. They complete this Friday, Sunday 2-game weekend, and next weekend they come right back with 2 more games on Friday and Sunday. On Friday night at 6 p.m. right here at Mountain Lions Stadium, Western State comes into town. And then on Sunday afternoon at 1 o'clock, it'll be Colorado Mesa providing the opposition with games 3 and 4 of the RMAC schedule. After that, the Mountain Lions go on the road over the course of 2 weeks for 4 matches. So they need the early start. Ball pushed through, trying to find Cleary. Maydew wins, goes near side and scores. Tori Maydew, her 5th goal of the season. And the Mountain Lions are out to a fast 4-0 advantage. Again, we'll wait for the assist on that. That was pushed forward. 2 runners were on it. Maydew got there first and finished it. And she regains momentarily the team lead with her 5th goal of the season. So right after the kickoff, that will be close for one of the faster goals in UCCS Mountain Lion history after a kickoff. They scored that within just about 30 seconds of the previous goal. Cleary chests it down, now looks ahead. Tominello trying to wait for it. Miss hit by the Cowgirls, picked up by Esterly, goes off of her foot and comes back to Warenga. Warenga sends it across to Esterly. Parado looking to free up Patterson, nearly did so. Now Tominello sends it back to Muir. Cleary racing toward the goal line to keep it in. Stops it on her right foot. Cross toward the top of the 18. 1 hop. Patterson dribbles to herself. Shot too high. And a full contingent of Mountain Lions come in. It looks like 5 players coming in now. So that'll mean 8 subs have come in this half. And again, for those of you just getting familiar with NCAA soccer substitution rules, first half, no re-entry. So this crew will finish out the half, final 17 minutes. That's McKenna Furman over there on the right side who passed it ahead. She just came into the game. Onto the foot of Jungi. Jungi against the challenge. Jungi successfully won that challenge and earned the call. Shot goes toward net and wide. And New Mexico Highlands also makes a substitution here. Raylis puts the ball back into play. That's Kelsey Lanham, who just stepped up to tap the ball back. Now it's on Lanham's foot. She drops it back to Muir. Muir has gone all the way here in the first half. She and Esterly are the two field players that have played the whole half thus far. Smith gets there before an onrushing Cowgirl can, and Smith collects it. Does the drop kick. She's got two down there. Lanham on the challenge. Ball popped up. And the Cowgirls come out with it. They've got a runner on the right if they can find her. Not quite enough pace on that pass. UCCS able to get back. Esterly sends it back to Smith, and Smith just bangs it forward. Goes out for the throw, gives the Mountain Lions an opportunity to come back and collect their shape on the defensive side. Kendall Stevenson is also one of the Mountain Lions that's checked into the game with that last group. She wears number 6 and has the cast on her left arm. She was injured during a training session right before the season started. That ball pushed forward and out for the goal kick. So Smith over to pick up the ball as we move under 15 minutes remaining in the first half. And we are hoping to have a halftime interview with the UCCS men's coach, Brian Miller. The men had the first half of today's doubleheader on homecoming weekend as they played Colorado School of Mines in RMAC play. The men dropped that match 4-1. We'll talk a little bit about that with Coach Miller when he gets here. That's Savannah Mills, or Sarah Mills. Mills, with great speed, comes back, collects it now, sends it over here near side for Muir. Muir to Lanham. Lanham tries to chip it through to Stevenson. Stevenson tries to circle the ball, lines something up, drops it. Shot by Cleary. Not as much pace on that as she wanted. Easily smothered by Raylis. Challenge over there. Savannah Mills called for the foul. UCCS up 4-0 here in the first half. Onto the foot of Lanham. Lanham starts it back. She has Mills on the right side. Again, not pushed with enough pace to get through. we talked about a few minutes ago. I think that'll be one of the discussion points at halftime. If you're going to make those passes, have to put enough pace on it to allow your teammate to get there. Worst case, it goes out, but you've gained real estate. But you don't give up the turnover in dangerous parts of the field. Nice slide tackle coming back. Up to Stevenson, she heads it. No teammate there. Cleary was coming on. Stevenson challenges. Step up by Jungi, I think that was, that challenged it to create the turnover. A bit of a push, no call. And the throw into UCCS. And it looks like Fabiola Estrada is coming in. She's going to replace Elisa Muir. So Muir will get a rare break for the final 11 minutes of the first half. So Kate Esterly, the only starter still out there on the field, in addition, of course, to the goalkeeper for the Mountain Lions. That's Esterly. She looks ahead, tries to pop it to Cleary. Cleary heads it on goal. No whistle, but the flag has been up and it's finally called offside. Would not have counted had that gone past Raylis. Should not count as a shot or a shot on goal in the stats since the offside superseded that. You may have heard a bit of a boot collision there. This dangerously goes through. Smith comes out, picks it up off of the big hop, and tries to start a quick counter back for the Mountain Lions. Stevenson, nice one touch into the center, just a little far ahead though for Jungi. And Medina back on the ball. She sends it ahead, had a runner, now it's a challenge, and Smith gets there first. Cleary cannot quite get there in time to keep it in. Throw in for the Cowgirls with just under 10 minutes remaining now in half number one. The Mountain Lions with the 4-0 lead. Ball pushed into a dangerous area. Waranga got something in her eye, or if she wears contacts. Waranga goes down to a knee. We'll see if the official sees that to stop play. Now she stops play. Hope it's just something went in her eye or a contact. They're calling the trainer on. Immediately after that header, she looked to me like she grabbed something on her eye. This gives us another chance to review a little bit of what's going on in the rankings. As you may know, the Mountain Lions were the preseason number 3 nationally ranked team. After the opening weekend where they went 1-1-1, they dropped to 17, and then last week, playing only one game, and that was a 1-0 win, they still dropped out of the top 25 in large part because CSU Pueblo had defeated West Texas A&M, the team that handed the Mountain Lions their only defeat. Now we may have, the way she's holding it, does it look to you like it's blood? Eye? Yeah, okay. So we have a spotter. So it does look like it's something to do with eye. They brought some water out. So have to feel bad for Waranga. Her first minutes and gets back from a leg injury and then catches a piece of perhaps the rubber recycled tire that goes into the artificial turf may have popped up and gone into her eye. So the official has just instructed players on the field. New Mexico Highlands was in possession when the whistle blew, so it's going to be a drop ball. Lanham is just going to kick it back to Raylis, and then we will be right back into possession of New Mexico Highlands. Good sporting behavior. I think technically that wasn't a clean drop. You're not supposed to take 2 touches, but nonetheless, the result is exactly what the official wanted. And now Highlands comes back. The flag is up near side, the offside call. That was Nitza Rodriguez who nearly got in behind the defense. She looked at the assistant referee on the near side, was not in complete agreement with that call. Now Cleary tries to drop it ahead for Mills. Mills on the challenge, gets around 1 but can't get around 2. Now Lanham with the ball at midfield. She's turned back and drops it to Esterly. Throw in for the Mountain Lions as we move into the final 8 minutes of half number 1. Big bounce, nearly got away. Raylis keeps it in. It's Estrada, sends it forward to Cleary. Cleary, 1 touch, trying to find Stevenson running through. Timing wasn't quite there. Ball finally settled by Lanham. Pushed ahead, trying to find Cleary. Cleary gives it to Mills. Mills set up on her left. She is pushed hard from behind. That's just outside the 18, so that'll be a direct kick rather than a penalty kick. So it looks like Esterly is stepping up to take the direct kick from the 18. Referee Chaffee steps off the 10 yards, moves the Cowgirls back, and we'll see whether they put a play on or she just goes for net. Drives it low, and a goal! Kate Esterly off of the direct kick. Brilliant kick, kept it low, got it to the side of the wall, past the goalkeeper, tucked just inside the post, and UCCS moves out to a 5-0 lead in the 39th minute. For Esterly, that's her first goal of the season to go along with 1 assist. Nicely done by Esterly. Cleary keeps it in near side. It was Stevenson who tried to drop it down, couldn't keep it under control. And now the Cowgirls momentarily had it, but a turnover right back to the Mountain Lions. Mills tries to get through 1, can't. And a bit of a retaliation there. So a call against the Mountain Lions, direct kick coming up for the Cowgirls. Esterly just sends it high and long. Cleary tries to race onto it. Smartly knocked out by the Cowgirls to prevent any additional danger. Now now both teams get to come back and set their shape as we go into the final 5 minutes of the first half. And we do have an injured player over here on the far side. Clock stops with 4:43. We'll take this other stoppage opportunity to get back to some of the discussion of what's going on in the rankings. As we mentioned, the Mountain Lions had fallen out of the top 25 last week because CSU Pueblo had defeated West Texas A&M, the only squad to hand the Mountain Lions a loss. So CSU Pueblo jumped in at 23 this week, and of course the Mountain Lions defeated them right here at Mountain Lions Stadium Friday night 3-0. So there's a good chance that you'll see the Mountain Lions climb back into the top 25 on Tuesday. In the regional rankings by the United Soccer Coaches Association, a heavy favor to our MAC teams. 5 out of the top 6 teams are from the RMAC, and all of those teams have won this week except CSU Pueblo, who, as we've talked about, dropped that match Friday night to the Mountain Lions. School of Mines comes up at number 1 in the region, Metro State number 2, and they had the 4-0 win over these New Mexico Highlands Cowgirls on Friday night. CSU Pueblo was in at number 3 in the region. The Mountain Lions were at number 5. West Texas A&M, their only loss of the season was that opening loss to CSU Pueblo. And West Texas A&M has just been on a tear. They are now 5-1 on the season. So I would fully expect to see them climb in the standings. Or in the rankings, I should say. They will be on top of the standings in the Lone Star Conference. For those of you that don't know, the 3 conferences that make up the South Central region of NCAA Division II women's soccer. Obviously the RMAC, also the Lone Star Conference, and the Heartland Conference. And 6 of those squads will qualify for the NCAA South Central Region playoffs when we move into the national championship at the end of the season. And UCCS certainly hopes to be one of those 6. And the way you qualify, you have to win the RMAC Conference Championship. That gets you the automatic qualification. And then after that, at least for the remaining RMAC teams, it's based on regional rankings conducted by the NCAA, not to be confused with the regional rank by the United Soccer Coaches. Now the Mountain Lions trying to come back with something broken up. That's Jungie that goes in hard on the tackle. Two and a half minutes to go, half number 1. UCCS comfortably ahead, 5-0 on this Sunday afternoon in Colorado Springs. No pressure put on by the Mountain Lions. They allow a clean cross. Lanham intercepts that. Sends it forward for Mills. Mills tries to make the turn and is held and pulled down. Call made. We'll have a direct kick. Just on the New Mexico side of midfield. Esterly just touches it ahead for Stevenson. Stevenson is knocked down, no call. And now we have a one-on-one race for the ball. And Estrada knocks it off of the legs of the Cowgirl, providing the challenge for the goal kick. That was a nice job by Estrada coming back. She was briefly beaten. Smith sends it over to the right side. Esterly with one of the 5 goals this half. Pushes it ahead, looking for Mills. Mills climbs over the back of a Cowgirl. No call, goes out for the throw. We are under 1 minute remaining in the first half. And I think I see the men's head coach. He's just entered the stadium, so he'll be joining us shortly for an interview. That ball goes into the box for Cleary. Stevenson follows, and it pops over the crossbar. So we will be into the final 15 seconds. See if she just stands over the ball, just casually puts it back into play. Nobody goes for it, understandably so. And the first half ends here at Mountain Lions Stadium with UCCS enjoying a 5-0 lead on this Sunday afternoon. We'll do a little bit of a review of the first half while Coach Miller makes his way. The Mountain Lions got out early with a 2-0 lead within the first 5 minutes of play. And I think we're going to stay with me until the coach comes and sits down. Is that correct? Yeah, if we could. Let's go to a short break while we get... And welcome back to Mountain Lions Stadium. We're at halftime of the women's game with UCCS ahead 5-0 over New Mexico Highlands. And it is our pleasure to have with us at halftime UCCS men's head coach, Brian Miller. Thank you for joining us. And Coach Miller, your squad obviously dropped a tough one in the first half of this doubleheader to finish up the homecoming weekend. The 4-1 loss to School of Mines. Right. Taking a look at that game, obviously School of Mines jumped out quickly. Your squad did an incredible job coming back. It looked like they were going to make a game of it, and then late in the first half, School of Mines put on 2 more, and it was the 4-1 score. I'm sure it was no great solace. The second half, you were 0-0. I'm sure one of your objectives was win the second half. But tell us a little bit about how you saw that match.
Yeah, obviously we were a little unlucky at the beginning with our play and what happened around. One of the biggest things will be for this week, how do we start a game? We've struggled this season so far with how do we start a game and going from there. Against Regis, if we could have started the game, it would have been a 1-0 tie. So we got to figure out how to start the game. So that'll be our goal for this week going into Utah.
Hey, and coach, if you want, if you're getting a little bit of feedback, you can remove one.
Yeah.
Of the you can remove one of the
There we go.
ear sides, so it's a little easier to talk.
Yeah.
But you were just starting to talk about the game Friday night with Regis, and for the fans that don't know, that wound up in a 1-1 draw, and I think you were alluding to the fact you fell behind early, 1-0, but you came back, and I thought you had the better run of play. I think the only advantage I would have given Regis was I think the second overtime they maybe outplayed you a bit, but I think from clearly the entire second half and the first overtime, you controlled it. So I'm guessing that's a bit of a bright spot for you. You've shown the ability to control a game.
Yeah. No, and it goes back to starting a game. So if we can come out and play the first 15, 20 minutes, we'll be a good team. Just like you were saying, after that 15, 20 minutes, we ran most of the possession and had more scoring opportunities. So that's going to be our goal moving forward.
And for the fans that may not be all that familiar with your team, as you mentioned, now you get ready to go on the road after this homecoming weekend. I think at the beginning of the season, you were tabbed in the preseason poll to be about midway in the league. What style of play can fans expect to see from your squad?
Yeah, well, hopefully it's possession to go forward and creating scoring opportunities from it. When we can go forward, we want to go forward and attack the goal. So that's the game plan. That's what we wanted to do. But like I said, the first 15, 20 minutes, we need to have a different game plan because that's not been working out so far. So we'll work on that, and that's our tactics moving forward is what can we do to start the game. So.
And you're 1-2-2 here through the first 5 matches of 2018. Every coach has a sense of what their team's going to be in preseason and as you go into camp. And now things start to settle out as you're already about a third of the way through the season. How is the team kind of matching up as they develop against your expectations?
Yeah, I mean, we're a team that has to work together. We have to have the same goals and the same tactics going into a game and execute. Today we didn't see that. Some poor decisions were made by certain players, and we weren't allowed to work together as a group. So that's what we got to focus on moving forward.
Okay, well, very good. Well, Coach, thank you. We appreciate
Absolutely.
your time and look forward. Fans, please come out to Mountain Lion Stadium for the rest of the season. Both the men's and women's side put on a great level of play, and you'll clearly enjoy yourselves when you come out to Mountain Lion Stadium. So once again, we'll get ready to check out for a little bit and then come back with you. We are at halftime of the women's game with UCCS ahead of New Mexico Highlands 5-0. You're watching UCCS Women's Soccer across UCCS Media Services and the RMAC networks. Welcome back to Mountain Lion Stadium as we get ready to start the second half with the UCCS Mountain Lions ahead 5-0 over the New Mexico Highlands squad. We'll take a quick look at some of the first half statistics. The Mountain Lions, not surprisingly, clear advantage in shots with 13 shot attempts against just one by New Mexico Highlands. The whistle goes off behind me and we are underway in the second half. UCCS, Tori Maydew is on it, sends it, crosses it right in front inside the first 30 seconds of the second half for a goal scoring opportunity. And as we were saying right before the whistle, the Mountain Lions with a clear 13-1 shot advantage. In terms of shots on goal, it was 7-0. Kaylin Smith not forced to make any saves for the Mountain Lions. Scoring in that first half, Tara Patterson, I should say, had 2 goals, her third and fourth of the season. She opened the scoring just over 5 minutes into the half, off an assist from Maddie Tominello. And then Patterson came right back on an assist from Anna Gregg just 2 minutes later. For Gregg, that was her first point of the season. And then the third goal was at just over the 25-minute mark as New Mexico Highlands looks to make a bit of a challenge, looking for some early noise here in the second half. New Mexico Highlands maintaining some control over there on the far side. There's a chip in, cleared off of the back line by McKenna Furman. Furman came into the game with around 22 minutes remaining in the first half, and she stays out there to start this second half, along with Kate Esterly on the back line playing center back. So far, Esterly is the only player to go the whole way up to Maydew. Maydew pushed out, but she had the last touch. Along the back line for the Mountain Lions, you have Furman. Here on the near side, center backs are Pacino and Esterly. Jungi gets it, tries to relieve some pressure, drops it back. Rounding out that scoring, Tori Maydew got her 5th of the season from Tara Patterson. So Patterson has 2 goals and an assist in this game, 5 points. So she's the point leader thus far in this match. And then Esterly rounded out the scoring in the 39th minute when she took a direct kick from just outside the 18, pretty much right in the center of the field. And she put that past the goalkeeper, keeping it on the ground, came to the left side through traffic, and Raylis really didn't have much of a chance. He had trouble seeing it coming through the traffic, or coming through the bodies. So direct kick. Smith out, challenge, ball loose. Stays on the foot of a Mountain Lion, now still loose. Pacino over there challenging on the far side. Highlands comes away with it, goes off of Pacino's shin, and we have a New Mexico Highland throw-in. Anna Gregg drops it back for Muir. Turnover, and it's pushed ahead. Only one back for the Mountain Lions. That was crossed. Smith easily collects that. Drop kick by Smith. Looking for Maydew. Maydew shields it nicely, moves forward, heads it ahead, races to try to keep it in. She makes the turn, keeps it in across the goal line. Cross into the middle, Jungi there. Couldn't quite get the surface on it that she wanted, and the ball goes across the field and out for a New Mexico Highland throw. UCCS, Elisa Muir will now take the throw, coming in down the far side. Patterson, I think that was Patterson that slipped over there on the challenge. And we have an early substitution in the second half for New Mexico Highlands. Actually, it was called a foul over there. Direct kick as Highlands puts it back into play. A little too far ahead for Muir, and we will have yet another throw. We'll take a quick look during some of the action at midfield at some of the scores from around the Rocky Mountain Athletic Conference, as after the first week of conference play, things are going to begin to take shape. Adams State with a 5-1 win over Black Hills State today. School of Mines with the 1-0 win over Colorado Mesa. And Western, who will be the UCCS next opponent on Friday night. Western gets their first win of the season with a 2-1 decision over Colorado Christian. And in what I at least consider to be one of the bigger games of today in Utah, Dixie State, who is now for the first time, and we'll come back to that as Maydew turns the corner. Maydew with the speed along the goal line, puts it into the center, and collected by the Cowgirls and just sent out for the throw. Dixie State in their first season in the RMAC as they make the move from the Pac West. They were 4-0 coming into today's action, and today was their first league action in the RMAC. And the two Utah schools from the RMAC, Westminster and Dixie State, matched up. Westminster with an early goal, and they held on to that lead, winning 1-0 to hand Dixie State their first loss of the season. So it'll be interesting on Tuesday when the rankings, both national and regional, come out to see how the coaches around the South Central region mark this. That ball goes right through the 18, but no real traffic present from the Mountain Lions, so no harm done from a New Mexico Highland perspective, and the Cowgirls start back. That ball sent up, nobody running onto it, so Pacino easily able to collect it for the Mountain Lions and hand it off to Esterly. Esterly ahead for Tominello. She tries to drop it to, I think that was Jungi that she tried to connect with. Didn't quite connect. Now Pacino wins the challenge and the ball, puts it on Jungi's foot. Jungi to Parado, she pushes it just a bit too far ahead. And this will result in a cowgirl throw. So we mentioned that Western comes into town on Friday night, 6 p.m. Mountain Time, right here at Mountain Lions Stadium. And then next weekend's doubleheader will wrap up on Sunday afternoon at 1 o'clock Mountain Time. Here's Maydew trying to sneak around the center back, knocked out by the Cowgirls. And then Colorado Mesa will come into town a week from today, 1 p.m. here at Mountain Lions Stadium. And that will end the 5-game homestand by the Mountain Lions. Maydew with a bit of a bicycle kick, challenging the goalkeeper. Goalkeeper runs through the leg. Now you can almost always count on this type of a call going in favor of the goalkeeper. Again, I thought fair challenge. Maydew had her left leg up, made contact with the ball. Goalkeeper, obviously allowed to use her hands, comes out, pretty much ran right through Maydew's leg, almost making it a turnstile, but Maydew called for the foul. Ball intercepted on the back line by Pacino, and she sends it ahead for Maydew, who drops it back for Furman. Furman trying to create something. She's turned back, so she just knocks it back to Esterly, who goes for the cross for Muir. Muir keeps it in, cuts across center, moving through space, deflected a bit, but right back onto Mountain Lion feet. Sent ahead for a goal kick, not deflected. Challenge on the far side, won by Pacino. She gets it back to Smith. Smith has a runner coming on. She's able to get it ahead, looking for Maydew. Maydew can't get around two. Furman to pick up the ball to take the throw in for the Mountain Lions. Furman to Maydew. Chooses to drop it to Tominello. Tominello trying to make the turn. Knocked out by the Cowgirls, and another throw coming up to UCCS. Tominello getting up a bit gingerly after that challenge. She walks it off. Intercepted, sent far side. That was Jungi who tried to drop it for the shot, unable to do so. And there she is, just steamrolled about 35 yards out from goal. Gets the call. Greg took the tumble and will be taking the direct kick. Referee lines up the wall 10 yards away. Whistle goes, Greg approaches. Drives it toward the far post and in. Low drive by Anna Gregg. From this vantage point, I think it went through clean. Nobody deflected it. That'll be Anna Gregg's first goal of the season to go along with an assist today. And UCCS advances their lead to 6-0. Nice ball by Anna Gregg. We've had two terrific goals on set plays today. Kate Esterly in the first half, and Anna Gregg right there. And the official scorers agree with what we saw. Nobody touched it on the way in. So Anna Gregg with that goal to extend the lead to 6-0. And at some point you may ask, but before you ask, does Maydew get through? Not quite. What's the advantage of piling on in this very competitive RMAC? Coming to the end of the season and being in a tie would not be out of question. And then goal differential becomes the next tiebreaker. So to hold on to this 6-goal lead, not allow anything, and take your 6-goal differential from today, you never know. That could come up at the end of the season as the difference. That should be a card. She hasn't stopped the clock yet, but she pulls the card. That was a clear tug. That was a yellow card caution. And if you're wondering, in the NCAA, yellow cards are cumulative. If you get to 5, you have to sit out a game, 5 in the season. Rodriguez is through, puts it on goal. That's the first shot on goal and the first save of the day. Kaylin Smith credited with that off of the foot of Rodriguez. Nice moves over there on the near side by Furman. She pushes it ahead just a bit too far. And Raylis able to pick that up in goal and punt it back into play. Parado tries to step up. The big bounce goes over everyone. Rodriguez trying to run through. Muir heads it out to the side. One-on-one challenge. Rodriguez drops it back. And now a nice combination. There's a 30-yard shot on goal. That was an easy save for Smith, but I do think technically it was a shot attempt. It should be credited on goal. So Smith with her second save. Cleary picks it up, drops it down. Can't quite keep it under control. So as we were talking about, the 6-goal differential could be big. So among the many objectives from this point forward, I'm sure, for Coach Sean Hudson, is to maintain the clean sheet. Kept in on the side, looking in the middle for, I think that's Estrada. And now the Cowgirls attempt to counter back. Mountain Lions do a pretty good job of getting numbers back. Estrada touches it, can't keep it under control, but Esterly picks it up. Esterly to Jungi. Jungi over to the far side to Muir. Muir pushes it up the touchline, but it goes out. So we'll have a Cowgirl throw with just under 27.5 minutes remaining in the match. UCCS enjoying a 6-0 lead. Esterly pops it ahead for Jungi. Jungi was hoping for somebody to be coming down the wing. Wasn't there. Goes out. And now we have subs both ways. And for New Mexico Highlands, they're going to make a goalkeeper switch. So Karina Vega, the backup keeper, will come in and play the final 26 minutes of the match. So Raylis, her line is 6 goals allowed on the afternoon. Karina Vargas now in net. And the Mountain Lions, they have Maydew on the right if they can find her. Not in time, and now the Cowgirls start back. Castillo calling for it, has the hand raised. Ball not going to get there. Patterson comes across midfield to collect it, pushes it out to the right. A bit too firm. And we have some more substitutions coming in. Elisa Muir will check out. Naomi Garola comes in to replace Elisa Muir for Muir. Again, a rare opportunity to check out, take advantage of the 6-0 lead. Up to this point, Muir had some of the highest number of minutes booked on the squad coming into today's game. Coming into the weekend, only she, meaning Elisa Muir, Patterson, and Pacino had over 300 minutes of field play. That was entering weekend play. Esterly kicks it ahead for Estrada. Good one-on-one defending by Pacino against Castillo. Castillo was trying to gain position to walk in, and Pacino thwarted that. Now Patterson pushes it down the wing. There's the touch, a little bit of a cutback. Can't set up the cross. Ball stays in play. Still in possession of the Mountain Lions. Estrada with it. Wall pass back to Estrada. Tried to line up for the left-footed shot. Pokes it out to an open teammate. Shot goes far post and high over the crossbar. And we stay at 6-0 with 23.5 minutes remaining in the match. Kate Esterly checks out of the game for the first time. She should be pleased with her 65+ minutes of play today. Coming into the game for her, Taylor Wilpot. And it took me a while to see that through traffic. We do have a New Mexico player down. The clock has stopped with 23:23 remaining. Try to check that. Unfortunately, we lost our spotters for today. The field was a bit short on ball shaggers, so as is the life of a soccer manager, you do whatever you need to do to help out the cause. And today's cause goes in favor of ball shagging. Now the clock resumes. Furman tries to carry it up the line. Knocked out by Romero. Romero tries to get it to teammate Medina, and the Mountain Lions come away with it. Maydew drops it down along the goal line. Here comes the cross. Goes near side. Even though Vega knocked it out, it was over the goal line before she made the touch, so it will be a goal kick for the Cowgirls. That's Parado with the ball. Looking for Garola, who was racing down the left side, a little too far ahead of her. And that'll result in a throw-in for the Cowgirls as they make a substitution. Big push ahead, easy race. Smith wins that. Gets it out of trouble. She backpedals into goal. Savannah Mills with the ball on the right side. She gets past the first defender, tries to make the turn. Drops it down. She was looking for Greg. Greg was a little bit off stride, so couldn't quite connect. Mills tripped up, call made. Mills is not happy the way she's pounding the ground. She's up now, seems to be moving okay. Greg will take the direct kick from out here. Let's see if she tries to go top corner far side. She goes far post. Somebody was racing in. I think that was Patterson looking for the header and the hat trick. Ball goes in. Easily collected by Vega to put it back into play for the Cowgirls. Medina sends it ahead. No traffic there. Smith comes out. No pressure at all, so Smith drags it into the area and picks it up. And now after Smith picked it up, we have a whistle. Injured Cowgirl back in the attacking end for... And the referee has also taken this opportunity as we are past the halfway point of the half to call a hydration break for 2 minutes. So once again, we'll go ahead and review the scoring for the Mountain Lions this afternoon. We have 2 goals by Tara Patterson on the day, and then 1 each by Maddie Tominello, Tori Maydew, Kate Esterly, and Anna Gregg to round out the 6 goals of scoring. 4 assists on the afternoon. Tominello had 1, so she has a 3-point afternoon working. Greg has an assist. She's also working on a 3-point afternoon. And Tara Patterson with an assist. So she's the team leader on the day with 5 points. Cowgirl player is up and now walking off under her own power. And we'll be moving toward the end of the 2-minute hydration break as we are at 19:49 remaining in the game. Fortunately, the weather has cooperated a little more in this game than it did in the men's game. The men's game started at noon local time with barely a cloud in the sky. And we are going to have a goalkeeper substitution for the Mountain Lions. This will be the first time Kaylin Smith has been out of net all season, so the final 20 minutes of the match. Looks like it's Alexis Walker who came in. Alexis Walker, a freshman. No, I am wrong. That is not Alexis Walker. That is graduate student Evelina Helgren. Helgren has been with the squad her entire career. Always has the unfortunate luck of being behind top keepers in the league. These are the kind of players you absolutely love to have on a squad. They work hard in training. They stick with the program. They don't get a ton of minutes, but nonetheless, they are the bread and butter of a team. That's the quality of player that you need on a squad. That ball pushed forward, shot, save for Vega, collision, and 2 more players down yet again. I think in large part, we are also seeing the effects of the second game in just 40 hours for both teams. It's been a hot day. They're drained by this point. Fortunately, some cloud cover has been coming in. So we have just been back into play for about 45 seconds and another clock stoppage, this time as a result of an injury. Helgren taking the opportunity to loosen up and stretch a bit more with this timeout, coming off of the bench. And as we mentioned, Kaylin Smith played all 470 minutes coming into today, and she played the first 70 minutes of today's match. So her goals against average obviously will drop, and it'll drop below 0.7. For those of you that have your calculators with you or can do the math, that's 4 goals allowed in 540 minutes. Sun pops out again behind the clouds. This artificial service, like most, when it's under direct sunlight, quite a bit of heat comes up off of the turf. So we are back underway. Patterson pushes it ahead to Gregg. Gregg looks to cross along the top of the 18. There's the drop for Wilpot. Can't quite line up the shot, so she pushes it out to Furman. Furman now trying to carry it down the right side. Touched out by the Cowgirls. And Kendall Stevenson returning to the pitch for the Mountain Lions with just under 18 and a half minutes to go. Garola comes over to the near side. And now it's on Garola's foot. Mills with the cross right in front, looking for the header. It was there, but couldn't quite get enough height over to drive it down. That was Patterson who pushed it over net. But a well-designed attack by the Mountain Lions. Seventeen and a half minutes remain in this 6-0 Mountain Lion lead. Now Patterson working on 2 goals, looking for the hat trick. Mills turns the corner, drags it back, shot right on net. That was Gregg with the point blank shot, but Vega was right where she needed to be. Ball bouncing at midfield, nobody could find it momentarily. And now Estrada works it and comes away with the ball. And she's pushed down late. And that is a well-earned kick. And we're either going to have a discussion or a card. With a 6-0 lead, the referee chooses to just let the clock run through that discussion. There's the drop for Estrada. Estrada steps up, pushes it out for Garola. Garola with the cross in, touch, far post, goes just wide. Again, the Mountain Lions are pretty much having their way as we get toward the end of the match. seen a couple of good combinations these last few minutes by UCCS. There's another hard tackle on the sideline by New Mexico Highlands, and a card is issued. I'm sure for New Mexico Highlands, this is completing a frustrating weekend in Colorado along the Front Range. Dropping Friday night's match 4-0, hoping to come into Colorado Springs and generate an upset. That ball is headed out by the defense, and this will be a Mountain Lion corner kick. Patterson steps over to take the corner. She's got Garola short if she wants her. Now Garola steps away. Now I think that's Greg coming forward for the short play. And the referee appropriately blows that whistle. You still have to stay 10 yards away. Greg was dragging the defender in, and she went all the way in. There's the drop, trying to create the better angle. Back to Patterson. Patterson drives it in with the left near post. Ball cannot be controlled, but it bounced off of a Mountain Lion following up the play. And clearly that was a designed play to free Patterson up with a better angle to get it on her left. Nearly worked, certainly created a rebound. Patterson still out on the field and pushes it across. And kept in nicely. Good speed. Estrada with it, turns, able to get it forward. Comes back to Patterson, just a little chip inside, was trying to free up Greg running through. There's Estrada, left foot on net, easy save. Vega collects it and brings it out to the top of the 18. 13:45 remaining in the match. That's a foul, clearly against the Mountain Lions. Greg appeals, but to no avail. As you take a look at the scoreboard, when you occasionally catch that on camera, you see that the shot advantage to the Mountain Lions, that's shot attempts. We'll get back to that in a second when we see what forms here. And the Cowgirls try to come back. That's Castillo that's looking for Rodriguez. Doesn't connect. And the Mountain Lions back in possession. Mountain Lions coming into today's match held a 3-1 shot advantage over their opponents through the first 5 games, meaning the Mountain Lions able to generate 3 shots for every 1 that they've allowed, and they've easily surpassed that today with a 7-1 advantage. And the important advantage is the 6-0 on the scoreboard. Highlands tried to come back, but Pacino breaks that up. It's a little bit of a push by the Mountain Lions, not called, and the Mountain Lions come away with it. Coming down the left wing, trying to cut it across the top of the 18. Slide tackle, all ball. The player tumbles over the defender, so no call. And it's the right no call. Estrada with it. Estrada for Garola. Mills walks in all alone, far post, score! There's your 7-0 advantage. Nicely done. Mills with the goal. Garola should get the assist on that. Not much that Vega could do there. Once Mills beat the back line, she was walking in all alone, and she had all kind of choices. She had near post and far post available. And actually, they give the assist to Patterson. I thought it came from Garola. If that is Patterson's assist, that'll be her 6th point on the day. 2 goals, 2 assists. And there's a bit of a discussion going out on the field as the restart is delayed. Again, I don't know if that's an injury or an illness, cramps. That was Nitza Rodriguez, who had to step off the pitch, bent over. We didn't see what happened. Again, it could be the heat has gotten to her, or there was a bit of a collision. Not sure. And I'm trying to take a quick look on the field to see if they've replaced her or they're just playing short at the moment. Here come the Mountain Lions again. Stevenson was walking in all alone. They couldn't find her. There's a knockdown. Shot goes just wide. I think earlier in the match that would have been called. And now massive changes coming in for the Mountain Lions. They have 5 players coming in. Pacino checks out for one of the rare times. So she will sit out the final 10 minutes. Maydew comes back into the match. Muir comes back in, and it looks like Muir is going to play the center back position as opposed to her normal outside back to try to preserve this shutout. Highlands looking for that goal in the breakthrough. They've been shut out in the last 2 consecutive games. Obviously, they want to do everything they can to not make it 3 in a row. Still looking for that first goal since September 1st. Headed out, Estrada's foot got up just a bit high, so Estrada called for that. I think it should be dangerous play for the foot up too high. We'll see if it's an indirect kick or they called it a charge. Referee's arm stays down, so it's a direct kick. Goes over the back line, heads toward the goal line. Smith easily over there to collect it and decide what she needs to do to bring it back. Muir has it. She brings it over to Parado near side. Parado sends it ahead for Estrada, drops it back for Parado as we move under 9 minutes to go in the game. Stevenson was looking to see what she was going to do with it, and when she wasn't looking, she got hit from the side. Call made, and we'll have a direct kick. Quick restart over to Garola. Garola, Estrada, ahead to Stevenson. Stevenson drops it for Tominello. Across the top of the 18, looking for the shot. A lot of traffic. Quick right-footed turn on goal and a save by Vega. And the Mountain Lions just keep extending that shot advantage. They're now over an 8-1 shot advantage on the day. And we don't have the exact numbers on shots on goal, but obviously with 7 goals and a number of saves, they've been pretty efficient at getting their shots on net. Maydew gets behind the back line, tries to make the touch around Vega. Vega's able to collect it and stay on it. That was a nice play both ends. For Tori Maydew, that's kind of a classic move for her. She's able to find those seams and get through and then turn on her burners. Now she's going to try to chest it down and see if she can control it. A little too far ahead, and Vega picks it up. And we have a whistle as I guess the ball went over the goal line. If you haven't noticed, our vantage point today for the broadcast and all weekend long is we are on the south end, so we're about 40 yards out from the south net. So on action on the north end, sometimes with traffic and angles, it's a little bit tough to see whether it goes over the goal line. In fact, you probably have a better view on many of the plays than I do, since we have 5 cameras bringing all of the action to you, courtesy of UCCS Media Services, and we thank them for all of the work that they've done all weekend long as Estrada commits the foul. It takes a lot of work in the truck and on the cameras. There were men's, women's doubleheaders both Friday and today, so a lot of time spent at the stadium this weekend instead of with families for the crew of UCCS Media Services, and we thank them for bringing all the action to you. Maydew tries to hunt it down. She does, crosses in front. Vega nicely and smartly falls on it and prevents it from coming all the way across. There was an easy open net on the far side. Vega's been quite busy in the minutes she's been in there. We are approaching the final 6 minutes of play this afternoon. UCCS enjoying a 7-0 advantage. This win will put the Mountain Lions at 2-0 and tied, obviously, for the lead in the RMAC after the first weekend of conference play. And it'll move the Mountain Lions to 4-1-1 overall on the season. Shot, score! They find top side. 8-0. Big shot from the outside. Goes high. Vega couldn't get up high enough to collect that as it tucks just underneath the crossbar. You may have heard the call from the PA announcer. They are giving the assist to Cleary on that as she set up that big shot from Kendall Stevenson. And so the Mountain Lions put up a 5 spot in the first half and a 3 spot here in the second. Maydew tries to get around the corner, can't. The last touch was off of New Mexico Highlands, so that will be a corner kick as we slide under 5 minutes to go in the game. I'm sure Coach Sean Hudson very happy to see so many players getting involved in the scoring today. Very balanced attack. Popped far side, ball straight up in the air, can't settle it, comes out to Furman. Furman sends it right back in, and Vega gets there first and has the ball. Tori Maydew pushes it out to the side to Garola. Garola tries to send it back in. Gets a little bit of a missed touch on it. For those of you that are interested in things like rankings, they do come out on Tuesday. Garola hits the football crossbar and goes out. Mountain Lions were 5th in the region behind CSU Pueblo, Mines, and Metro. I would fully expect them to jump CSU Pueblo for sure as a result of the weekend, and we'll see if that's enough to also climb into the into the top 25 nationally. Goal kick as that ball went out before the Mountain Lions were able to cut it back as we move into the final 2.5 minutes of today's game. The thing that I'll be looking for in the rankings is West Texas A&M. We spoke about them a bit earlier in the match. They are now 5-1 on the season. They lost their opening match to CSU Pueblo, and Maydew goes in, but she was offside. And West Texas A&M, after that opening loss, has just torn through everyone and begin to gain the notice of those doing the ranking. They were 1 slot ahead of the Mountain Lions in the regional rankings at the 4 spot. And that was when they had 3 wins. So we'll see where they come out on Tuesday, as well as the Mountain Lions. You can be confident they will both be high in the regional rankings. The question will be how that translates into the national rankings, which at this stage in the season doesn't really mean all of that much, other than it's fun talk for people like me. But it'll begin to mean quite a bit in a few weeks when the NCAA starts coming out with its regional rankings, and that is what establishes the seedings for the regional playoffs in the NCAA bracket. The finals this year, the Final Four, will be in Pittsburgh. That's the last weekend in November, first part of December. And the Mountain Lions were in Kansas City last year for the Final Four, and their mission all along has been to get back to the Final Four and get even further. Mountain Lions charge in the final minutes, still looking for more. Final 30 seconds and a corner kick. They're choosing to not go short and just kill time. They're going to make an attacking play. There's a deflection. Knocked out by Highlands. So UCCS will make this a very successful homecoming weekend with 2 shutout victories, 3-0 on Friday night against CSU Pueblo, and today they wrap up an 8-0 victory over New Mexico Highlands. So that moves the Mountain Lions to 2-0 in conference play, and they'll be right back at it here next Friday and Sunday with a pair of matches. Western will come into town. Western will come into town at 6 p.m. next Friday. And meanwhile, Colorado Mesa will provide the opposition on Sunday afternoon at 1 o'clock. So again, those kickoffs next weekend. Western State, Colorado University will be here on Friday night, 6 p.m. And that'll be followed up by Colorado Mesa coming into town at 1 p.m. next Sunday afternoon. But the most important thing behind me, just completed an 8-0 victory for the UCCS Mountain Lions as they go to 4-1-1 on the season and 2-0 in conference play. So that'll wrap it up from here at Mountain Lions Stadium on this homecoming weekend. We'll be back with you next Friday night with all the play-by-play, 6 p.m. from right here in Mountain Lions Stadium. Until then, this is Doug Klein thanking all of the folks on the camera, in the truck, the managers for helping us out. We hope you had an enjoyable homecoming weekend as we did. Once again, the final score from here at Mountain Lions Stadium, the UCCS Mountain Lions 8, New Mexico Highlands Cowgirls 0. Good afternoon, everyone.